How to use depth of field in landscape bird photography. Imagine capturing a scene where a bird is perched on a branch, surrounded by a lush landscape. How do you make sure the bird stands out while still showing its environment? That's where understanding how to control depth of field becomes so important. Depth of field is the zone of sharp focus in your photo, from the closest point to the furthest. In landscape bird photography, it helps you decide whether to keep everything in focus or just the bird itself. A deep depth of field means most of the scene, including the bird and background, will be sharp. To do this, use a small aperture, which is a higher f number like f8 or f11. Also, increase the distance between your camera and the bird, and use a shorter focal length lens. This way, you get a clear view of the bird and its habitat, showing details in both. For example, if you want to show a bird in a forest with trees and foliage, a deep depth of field helps tell that story well. On the other hand, a shallow depth of field blurs the background, making the bird pop out. To achieve this, open your aperture to a lower f number, such as f2.8 or f5.6. Moving closer to the bird or using a longer focal length lens also helps. For instance, if you want to highlight a bird's colorful feathers or expressive, a shallow depth of field softens the background distractions. This technique works well when you want viewers to focus on the bird's features, especially in busy or cluttered environments. Choosing between deep and shallow depth of field depends on what story you want to tell. If your goal is to show the bird in its natural setting, go for a deeper focus. If you want to emphasize the bird's details or personality, a shallower focus works best. When shooting, try using an aperture around f7.1 to f8 for a good balance, especially if the bird is close. If the bird is moving, opening the aperture slightly can help you get faster shutter speeds to freeze motion. Longer lenses like 300 or 500 millimeters naturally create a shallower depth of field, so stopping down the aperture is key to getting more of the scene in focus. Always focus on the bird's eyes or head to ensure the most important part is sharp. If you want to include multiple birds or a group, use a smaller aperture and increase the distance from your subjects. From the bird's perspective, how you control depth of field influences how viewers see them in their environment. A deep focus shows their place in the landscape, revealing their behavior and ecology. A shallow focus highlights their individual beauty and details, creating a more intimate connection. So, mastering how to control depth of field in landscape bird photography helps you tell richer stories, whether you want to show the bird's world or just their striking features. Adjust your aperture, focal length, and distance to craft images that match your vision and bring out the best in your feathered subjects.